Hey there, I'm Will. I'm one of the founders of Olive. Today we're going to show you how to set up an Olive bike. So the first step is obviously remove it from its box. So just put it open like this. Sometimes we put tape on it, so just kind of cut it gently, making sure you don't slice anything inside. And open up. Okay, now just take out the bits and bobs. You have some mud guards in here. They come with every bike. A few protective pieces of packaging, and then your new Olive bike. Remove that. Okay, I'm just leaning it against there. The packaging you can just put inside the box. For the installation, you would only need two tools other than the ones we include: a pair of scissors for the packaging and a wrench for the front wheel. That's a size 15 wrench. The first step is just to take off the cable ties on the bike. So, let's move around the bike so you can see it. You'll notice there are some cable ties holding the various components together. So the first job is just to cut those off with some scissors. Be very careful not to scratch the frame or anything else on the bike, and then we'll just remove the cable ties. Okay, so now that you've taken all the packaging off your bike, we're going to start putting everything together. There's just two common kind of misconceptions with the packaging. Some people miss the Allen keys, which are taped to the top of the saddle, or sometimes the underneath of the saddle, but make sure you don't throw those away. And also on the front wheel, there's this plastic bit here. That's just so the axle doesn't puncture through the side of the box in shipping. So that's packaging. You can just remove that and then discard that as well. First, we're going to put in the saddle. So with the larger of the two Allen keys, which is a size 5 Allen key, just loosen this. When you're using Allen keys, you want to make sure that the tool is all the way in to avoid stripping the thread. So just loosen it up and simply insert the seat post like so, and then give it a tighten. We're going to adjust it properly or fully later, so just make sure it's just a little bit tight. But doesn't need to be perfect right now. So next is putting on the front wheel. If you look very closely at the rubber, you'll see there's a direction of rotation printed on the rubber. Mine is going this way around, so I'm going to put it on this way. All we do is we lift up the forks and then put the axle either side. If the bolts need to be tightened, untightened, you just loosen them a little bit. You don't need to take them off, and then there's two thick silver washers. Move those to the outside of the forks, and then simply drop them like this. And for now, we can just tighten it by hand. Make sure it's all the way in. And then we can just, by hand again, center the brake. Great. Okay, so next we're taking the smaller of the two Allen keys, which is putting the handlebars on. So we want to take the front part of the stem off. So all we're going to do is take out the 4 bolts on here, and at some point we'll have them off, and then we'll put on the handlebars. Okay, so we've got the handlebar on. What we want to do is obviously make sure that the cables are not twisted or in any funny angle, and this is at the moment being put back on, but only loosely. Now, what's useful next is to step over the bike. I'm extremely tall, 6'6", and this is one of our medium bikes, so it might look a bit small on me. But what we're doing that for is to make sure that the handlebars are at the right angle, so we can move them and make them feel nice in a nice riding position. And we can hold it here, make sure it's centrally aligned as well, and with this, again with a small Allen key, just tighten it up again. Now you want to tighten up the screws all evenly, so one by one, and just do them a little bit at a time to make sure that it's gripping the handlebar nice and tightly. And just go around and keep making sure they're nice and tight, like so. That's great, and that looks pretty good. Now, you might notice that the handlebars now are off to the side or at a funny angle. That's so the handlebars are in the box. We now want to make sure that they're straight, obviously, so there are 2 screws on the stem here. The same Allen key, we can loosen those up, make sure it's the right angle, and then tighten them back up again. It makes sense to have them aligned here. On my bike, they're fine at the moment. You're almost there. The next thing is do the pedals. Now, pedals have different screw threads on them. So on one, it will say L on the top, and the other one, it will say right, or R for right. So the left one is this one, I'll put it down for a moment, and the right one is here. Now you want to make sure that you look at the screw thread and that it makes sense for obviously screwing it in to the crank arm. So this one is clockwise, and so by hand you just put that in like so, and just do it up. Right, now that the bike's almost fully set up, you want to make sure the saddle is the right height. So again, with the bigger Allen key, we can loosen it, or if we didn't loosen it before, that's fine, and we find the right height for that. Okay, so what you want to do is make sure that it's probably around hip height, maybe slightly higher than hip height. Obviously this isn't the right size bike for me. When I step over, when I have my feet down, it's kind of on my tiptoes like this, and then that would be the correct height. Great, so we also have mud guards. Every Olive bike comes with the mud guards. There are instructions in the box for that. It's very kind of simple to do. The setup is the same for both the Olive O and the Olive S. So if you have an Olive S, follow the same instructions. Great, well, have a great time riding your Olive bike, and thank you very much.